The door shook violently, the lock screaming as something heavy slammed against it. "Rena!" A man's voice barked from the hallway, close enough that she could hear his breath. "Open the door." Rena Moore didn't move. She was already on the floor, her back pressed against the wall, her arms locked tightly around her daughter. "Don't cry," she whispered into Lila's ear, her hand trembling as it covered the child's mouth. "Please, just please." Lila's small body shook against her. Her eyes, those gold-brown eyes, were wide with terror, glassy with tears she was fighting not to let fall. Another hit slammed into the door. Harder this time, the wood cracked. "Rena," the voice said again, calmer now, dangerous. "We don't want to hurt anyone, just open the door." Her phone buzzed in her pocket. The vibration felt like an explosion. She didn't want to look. She already knew what it would say. She pulled the phone out anyway, the screen lighting up the darkness between them. "Unknown number. You found something you shouldn't have. Give it back. Or we take the girl." Her chest caved inward. "No," she whispered, shaking her head as if the phone could hear her. "No, no, no." The door rattled again. Someone laughed this time. Lila's fingers clutched Rena's shirt. "Mommy," she breathed, barely a sound. "I'm scared." "I know," Rena whispered, her voice cracking. "I know, baby, I've got you. I won't let anything happen to you. I promise." But promises were lies when monsters were already inside the building. Another message came through. "Unknown number." 24 hours was generous. "We're done waiting." The hallway lights flickered. Footsteps multiplied. More voices. They were surrounding the apartment now. Rena closed her eyes for half a second and saw a different room. A corkboard filled with photos. Faces of missing girls, shipping manifests. Red lines crossing oceans. Names that didn't belong together until she put them together. She had followed the trail too far. And now they had followed her home. Her fingers moved on the phone without thinking, opening her contacts. She scrolled past editors, past colleagues, past emergency numbers that wouldn't matter. She stopped at a single letter. R. Her thumb hovered. Lila looked up at her, confusion mixing with fear. "Mommy, who are you calling?" Rena swallowed hard. Her throat burned. "The only person who can help us," she said softly, "and the one I hoped you never have to meet." The door splintered. A crack ran through the wood like a lightning strike. Rena pressed the call button. Across the world, in a city that never slept because fear worked overtime, Rafael Kade stood in silence as his phone vibrated on the polished table beside him. He didn't look at it. Men stood around him, waiting, watching his face for reactions that never came. He was known for that stillness, calm control. "Sir," his aide said carefully, "that number has been called 5 times. Raphael finally turned his head. "Where from?" "Riverton City." Something flickered in his eyes, gone as quickly as it came. "Answer it," he said. The line connected. At first, all he heard was the sound of breathing, ragged, uneven. Then her voice. "Raphael," Rena said, barely holding herself together. "They're here." His jaw tightened. "Who?" "You know who," she snapped, panic bleeding into anger. "I shouldn't have dug, I know that now, but I did, and they know about her." He said nothing. She laughed, a broken sound. "You still don't talk much, do you?" "What about her?" he asked. Rena squeezed her eyes shut. The door behind her groaned as something heavy rammed into it again. "She's 6, Rena said. "She's hiding in my arms right now while men with guns try to break into my home." Raphael's voice dropped. "Rena." "She has your eyes," she said, the words tumbling out. "I didn't plan it. I didn't trap you. I ran because I was scared. I was pregnant and I saw who you really were and I." A loud crack echoed through the phone. Wood snapped. "They're breaking in," Rena said. "I don't have anyone else to call." Silence. Then Raphael spoke, and every man in the room straightened. "Listen to me," he said calmly. "You're going to take the fire stairs, not the elevator. You're going to leave everything behind. Do you understand? How do you? Do you understand? He repeated. Yes, she whispered. You're not hanging up, he said. Not unless I tell you to. The door burst inward. Rena screamed as the frame exploded, splinters flying across the room. She grabbed Lila and ran. Gunshots thundered behind her. She burst into the stairwell, feet pounding concrete as voices shouted above and below her. She's on the stairs. Rena, Rafael said sharply. How many shots? I don't know, she gasped. Too many. Keep moving, he ordered. You hear me, do not stop. Why are you helping me? She cried. After everything. Because, he said quietly, she's my daughter. Her breath caught. Tears blurred her vision as she pushed through the stairwell door into the night. Outside, the city was loud, alive, unaware. Rena ran. She didn't stop until her lungs screamed and her legs nearly gave out beneath her. She ducked into the nearest place with light, noise, and people, a transit terminal packed with travelers and security cameras. She collapsed onto a bench, clutching Lila so tightly the child whimpered. Mommy, it hurts, Lila said softly. Rena loosened her grip instantly. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Rafael's voice came through the phone again, steady, controlled. They followed you. Yes, she whispered. I can feel it, they're close. They won't touch you, he said. How can you be so sure? Because, he replied, my people are already there. As if summoned by the words, shouting erupted near the terminal entrance. Gunfire cracked the air. People screamed and scattered. Rena covered Lila's head as men in black surged forward, forming a wall around them. Target secured, one of them said into a mic. A tall man knelt in front of Rena. Ma'am, he said quickly, we're here to get you out. Who are you? She demanded. Friends of the man you called, he said. Move now. They rushed her through chaos, into a waiting SUV that roared away before the doors were fully closed. Rena collapsed against the seat, shaking. On the other end of the line, Rafael exhaled for the first time since answering the call. Get them on the plane, he said. I want them home. Rena stared at the phone in her hand, then down at her daughter, who was finally starting to calm down. Lila, she whispered, there's something you need to know. Lila looked up at her. About the man on the phone. Rena nodded, tears spilling freely now. Yes, baby, she said. About your father. If this story has you hooked already, tap that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me what you think Rena should do next, because the choices ahead only get darker. The jet's engines roared as the city lights fell away beneath them, shrinking into scattered sparks against the darkness. Rena hadn't realized she was holding her breath until the plane lifted fully into the air. Her hands were clenched in her lap, knuckles pale, her entire body wound tight as if she expected the walls to suddenly fall apart. Lila slept against her shoulder, exhausted, unaware that her entire life had just been ripped open. Across the aisle, Rafael Kade watched them in silence. Up close, Rena saw what time and power had done to him. His face was sharper now, harder. The warmth she once knew was buried under years of command and blood-soaked decisions. But when his eyes drifted to the child sleeping against her chest, something in him cracked. She looks like you, Rena said quietly without looking at him. Raphael's jaw flexed. I know. Silence pressed between them, thick and heavy. I didn't tell you because I was afraid, she said. Not of you, of what your world would do to her. You were right, he replied. My world destroys everything it touches. Rena finally looked at him then. Then why did you build it? His gaze stayed on Lila. Because when you grow up powerless, you mistake control for safety. Lila shifted, her eyes fluttering open. She blinked sleepily, confused by the unfamiliar space. Mommy, she murmured. Rena brushed her hair back gently. It's okay, sweetheart, you're safe. Lila's eyes drifted to Rafael. She studied him with quiet intensity, the way children do when they sense truth before words. You're the man from the phone, she said. Rafael swallowed. Yes. You sound scarier on the phone, Lila added honestly. Rena let out a shaky breath that almost sounded like a laugh. Rafael knelt slightly so he was closer to Lila's level. I'm sorry about that. Lila tilted her head. Are you my dad? The words hit harder than any bullet ever had. Rafael didn't answer immediately. He looked at Rena, searching her face for permission, for forgiveness, for something that might steady him. Rena nodded once. Yes, Rafael said quietly. I am. Lila stared at him for a long moment, then reached out and touched his hand. You took a long time, she said. Something broke in his chest. I know. She curled her fingers around his. Don't go again. I won't, he said without hesitation. I swear. The jet touched down hours later on a private runway hidden between mountains. Cold air rushed in as the doors opened. The smell of pine and wet stone filled Rena's lungs. The safe house was isolated, silent, guarded by men who moved like shadows. For the first time since the threats began, Lila laughed. The sound stopped Rena in her tracks. She turned, watching her daughter run across the wooden floor, marveling at a simple bowl of fruit as if it were a miracle. Rena pressed her hand to her mouth. Rafael noticed. She's safe here. For now, Rena replied. But your enemies don't disappear just because you want them to. No, he agreed. They disappear when I remove them. That night, while Lila slept peacefully for the first time in days, Rafael stood alone in the control room, staring at screens filled with information. His aide stepped in carefully. Sir, we traced the authorization for the Riverton hit. Rafael's eyes darkened. Who? The aide hesitated. Victor Crow. Rena overheard the name from the doorway. Who's that? Rafael didn't turn. The man I trusted to run my empire when I wasn't watching. Victor Crow arrived at dawn, smug and unbothered, as if nothing had gone wrong. You look tired, Victor said casually. Rough night. You ordered the attack, Rafael said flatly. Victor shrugged. You were distracted. Expansion needed teeth. You traffic children, Rafael said, his voice ice cold. Victor smiled. Don't pretend you didn't benefit. Rena stepped forward. My daughter was almost killed because of you. Victor glanced at her. Collateral happens. The room went silent. Rafael moved faster than anyone expected, slamming Victor against the wall, his hand closing around his throat. You endangered my child, Rafael said, his voice low and lethal. Victor laughed even as he struggled. You're weak now. That's why this won't end well for you. Rena watched Rafael's face change, not into rage, but clarity. He released Victor slowly. You're right, Rafael said. It won't end well for you. Victor sneered. You'll burn everything you built just for her. Rafael answered without hesitation. Yes. What followed was chaos. Rafael leaked everything. Accounts, names, routes, allies, enemies. He turned his empire inside out, feeding information to every agency that would listen. Phones exploded with calls. Men turned on each other. Entire networks collapsed overnight. Victor tried to run. Rafael found him before he could. They faced each other in the rain, city lights flickering in the distance. You chose a child over an empire, Victor spat. Rafael stepped closer. I chose humanity. The shot echoed through the night. By morning, the world knew Rafael Kade's name, but not as a kingpin. As a witness. As the man who brought everything down. At the mountain house, Rena watched the sunrise with Lila wrapped in a blanket beside her. Mommy, Lila said softly, is Daddy a bad man? Rena thought carefully. He made bad choices, she said, but he's choosing better now. Rafael joined them quietly. I'm going to tell the truth, he said. All of it. Rena nodded. Then we build something different. Rafael smiled faintly. Something smaller, something honest. Lila yawned. Can we have pancakes? Rena laughed through tears. Yes, baby, we can have pancakes. They sat together at the table, sunlight spilling across the wood, the world quieter than it had ever been. Before this story ends, take a second to like this video, subscribe for more powerful stories, and comment below. Do you believe people like Rafael can truly change, or do past sins always catch up? As the camera fades, Rafael makes one final call. "I'm ready," he says. The empire is gone, but a family remains. And for the first time, that's enough. If you stayed till the end, you're real. Like, subscribe, share this story. More unforgettable stories are coming next.